the big tour, the reason why you're doing it, you just released your second full-length album, Garden of Heathens. It's an amazing album. So how did this album come about? Let's just walk us through step by step. I know you recorded in a barn. Let's just get into it.
Yeah, so we had wrapped up a pretty busy 2019. Paisley had just joined the band, and Lycan also. So we did a lot of touring, and then the pandemic happened, and nobody did anything. But for us, it was like, it's hard to keep a band going for 12 years as like because it's like this is like my thing, So just through all the lineup changes and limited availability, Heavy Temple's always been that band that's like writing songs and playing them for like years before we ever get an album out. So we just kind of go and go and go. And this forced us to stop, and we just kind of started riffing around, and that's how this came to be. And I can't remember how we stumbled across it, but John over at Animal Farm, I'm going to recommend to everyone that they go record with John at Animal Farm in Flemington, New Jersey. Don't take up all his time. I'm gonna want to go back there, but it is incredible. It's such an awesome experience. You're recording you're like living in the place where you're recording, and there's all these extra instruments, and so it's the first album we recorded outside of our basement. Everything else has been super DIY. So this was the first time we got to go to a studio and treat ourselves like musicians. A little bit, and I think we all had a lot of stuff going on. I know at least myself and Paisley did at the time, and I think that's reflected in this album. It's a little bit angrier. I've been kind of referring to it as I hate saying it, but it's a breakup album. It's like a Taylor Swift Doom album, except that we wrote all the songs ourselves, and they're good. But no, but that's what it is. This album is very emotional, at least for me, and I think just probably for everybody in the band. And I'm just happy to be touring on it, happy to have it out there, happy to hear that people like it.
Yeah.
I don't know how like the internet and like the world works now, because I'm kind of like I've been like removing myself from that. So I'm hoping that people know that we're touring and will come out, but it'll be a good time. I'm happy to play these songs.
Throw it out there, and hopefully people catch the ball and go see you.
Yeah.
Kind of going back to what you were just talking about a little bit. I mean, I definitely want to get into a little bit more of the technical stuff about it. But on your Bandcamp, it says something about you're writing the lyrics, but about things that aren't real, like the American dream to relationships.
Oh yeah.
Can you elaborate on that? Yeah, let's split it up in a two-part thing. How is the American dream not real? And then let's get into the
Oh gosh. Well, I mean, the American dream is basically just to have as much as you can so that the rules don't apply to you. I think that's at the crux of the American dream and capitalism, but on a broader scale, and to maybe bring a bit of mysticism or spirituality or whatever you want into it. Obviously Garden of Heathens is a play on Garden of Eden. There's no religious there's no like religious overtones or anything. I mean, the songs, that's a lie. The song titles and like that's the theme, I guess, but it's like this perverted, distorted version of reality where like, the things that the things that we are told are the things that we should want, the things that we should strive for. It's like, it's kind of all, am I allowed to swear? I don't know. I was just going to say, it's kind of all bullshit, right? Most of us know that. And so that's why it wasn't, this album ended up being, I think, a broader commentary, but it is just for me on a personal level, this is an album about having to face up to the fact that you need to take an L in the fact that you thought that this world that you're creating with someone, it's like it's not real, you know. And so I guess to use that analogous to the world at large, great Modest Mouse song, but the world at large, like that's sort of the thing, right? It's like none of this is real, and we should just be focusing on like the things that make a life fulfilling, like relationships, whatever your creative pursuits are, you know what I mean? So yeah, I think that's kind of it in a nutshell.
Yeah. Okay, how about going to the relationships bit to it?
Yeah, I mean,
How may relationships not be real?
well, I think that it's obviously it's like, you know, on an individual basis, but in my case, you know, I just sometimes sometimes people are not who you think they are, and people will show you who they are pretty quickly, and that's why I'm saying taking an L. Like that's why these lyrics, I was thinking about it, and I'm just reading them now and thinking about where I was mentally when I wrote them and recorded them. It's almost like that version of myself is telling this new present version of myself, like, A, don't beat yourself up too much. B, like, it's okay. But C, like, that's part of that in that relationship is again going back to taking the L. It's not necessarily lost, but like we have to admit to ourselves that there are things that we bend reality to what we want it to be sometimes, even though we know that the reality we're living in is like not okay. So just that's what I mean. Like a relationship is, I suppose that's more on like an esoteric level, but just you know, snake oil, man. That's what snake oil. So it's just being through that quagmire of your own nonsense coupled with this other. Everybody brings everything with them all the time. So trying to get out through the other side.
Yeah.
And maybe that's too with the artwork, with like they're all like coming out of the cave and like moving toward that temple or whatever, you know.
Yeah, like going away from demons into something better. Yeah, I like that.
I'd like to think so.